I'm Chip from the Digital Grandstand, and this is Beyond the Finish Line for the 2017 Canadian Grand Prix. Overall, this was a very good Grand Prix. First Grand Prix of 2017 on American soil, check. A very good one. There were some issues though. Let's start with the qualifying session. Coming into this weekend with the circuit's profile, low degradation, low grip, heavy braking zones, Ferrari were seen as favorites. And truth be told, they were for a good part of it until Q3 rolled around. Because those two quali runs of Hamilton were amazing. Seriously, a 1 minute 11.4 seconds time round the Gilles Villeneuve circuit is, well, it's not only a new all-time record, but it's such a testament of the evolution of Formula 1. And yes, of course, with his pole lap, Hamilton equaled the great Ayrton Senna's 65 career poles. Not that statistics are telling the whole story, but if it was to happen, it's sort of fitting that it happened here in Canada. After all, it's a circuit that was always kind to Hamilton. Another great effort from Vettel too in quali, splitting the Mercs, but to be fair, it proved that these two, Hamilton and Vettel, are in a class of their own, really, this year. Verstappen getting the better of Ricciardo was a good surprise, and also Esteban Ocon keeping his teammate honest, but more on the Force Indias later. On Sunday, well, first things first, it was a day to forget for the Toro Rossos. Kvyat couldn't get away on the formation lap and had to be pushed by the mechanics. Eventually he started but got not one but two penalties for failing to catch up to the field in time. And add to that the retirement of Carlos Sainz on the first lap and a day to forget for the Italian Red Bulls. Speaking of the early retirement of Sainz, he was tapped in the right rear tire by Grosjean, and on his way to the barriers he collected Felipe Massa, which is really unfortunate, considering that Lance Stroll ended up in 9th. We can only assume where the Brazilian would have ended up. Also worth mentioning, Max Verstappen, man, such a shame. He got the start of the season from 5th to 2nd in 2 corners. What a performance. Round the outside into turn 1, sticking his nose ahead of both Vettel and Bottas. Brilliant stuff. It was a real shame he was out in the first part of the race with battery issues.
Crucially, those 11 laps when Max was running second proved the deciding factor in Hamilton's cruise to the 4th Grand Slam of his career. Verstappen's lounge damaged the front wing of Vettel, sending him in damage limitation mode for the rest of the race. But, equally important, his relatively slow Red Bull acted as a buffer to the chasers of Lewis. All of them, Bottas, Ricciardo, the Ferraris and the Force Indias, were stuck behind Max for more than 10 laps. Out in front, Hamilton made the most of this situation, and by the time Verstappen retired, Lewis was more than 8 seconds in front of Bottas. Behind him, Daniel Ricciardo kept both Force Indias at bay as well as a recovering Sebastian Vettel in the later stages of the race. A well-deserved 3rd place.
Perez and Ocon of Force India were the stars of the race for me. Both got away really well off the line, defended against various cars, not least the Ferraris, and put pressure on Ricciardo for the most part of the race. The prancing horses had sort of a damage limitation race. Vettel was looking good off the line, but got caught up by Verstappen's lightning start and lost bits of his front wing. He pitted by lap 5, I think, trying a 1-stop, but that turned into a 2-stopper when his tires proved rather slow. But it was a great recovery for the German. He battled his way through the field all the way up to 4th place. Also, his last lap's battle with the Force Indias were amazing. Again, if anything, it proves how much experience is worth in Formula 1. His dive up the inside into turn 1 was fantastic. I genuinely thought for a moment he will get 2 cars in one go. Perez defended well, and Ocon, well, he had presence to back out of the fight when he lost the position. Anyway, a thrilling couple of overtakes by Vettel. In the end, Hamilton crossed the finish line almost 20 seconds ahead of his teammate for the first Mercedes 1-2 of the season. And that was exactly what this championship needed to reignite itself. After Monaco, where Mercedes was nowhere, really, Canada proved hopefully that this season will go down to the last Grand Prix, both in the Drivers' Championship and the Constructors' one. All in all, a very good race. Stroll got some points for Williams on home turf. Hülkenberg looked feisty for Renault. The Force Indias will be glad with those points, but they will surely moan the missed opportunity for a podium. Vettel will be more than pleased after a bad weekend where he fought his way up back to 4th. And McLaren, well, the divorce with Honda looks more and more appealing to them. Again, a very good race here in Canada. Good performances by most of the racers, and a more and more feisty battle between Hamilton and Vettel up front, which is exactly what we all want. Now, let's have another race like this in 2 weeks' time. What are your thoughts of the Canadian Grand Prix? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and check back soon for more F1 related content. Or you can always subscribe. I've been Chip. You can find me on Twitter at chip_DGS. And that was Beyond the Finish Line for the 2017 Canadian Grand Prix.